Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk Live Shopping. If this is your first time, welcome. I am your host. I am Marcy McKenna. I have been in this crazy live shopping space for almost 15 years now. HSN, QVC, Shop HQ, TSC Canada, you name it. And then, of course, in today's new modern age of live shopping, all over the place, from Amazon Live to Pinterest TV to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, you name it, I have done it. And I am quite obsessed with live shopping, hence this new live series that I am hosting, as I want to share everything that I know to be true about live shopping with all of you e-commerce brands that are out there, all of you Amazon sellers, even if you're someone who sells on Etsy or Poshmark or Comment Sold or whatnot, wherever you might be selling or might be thinking of selling, live shopping is an opportunity that is unbelievable and that is so there for the taking. It is so affordable. One of the single most affordable ways you can possibly build a brand, market a product, build a big following for your product, and of course, make sales, because we are seeing conversion rates averaging around 10 times what they are in traditional retail and traditional e-commerce website. Howard Kaufman, welcome. Tested live shopping, but not too successful over a year ago. Category is natural oral care products. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad you're here, Howard, because it's kind of a new world even just a year later. And there are so many incredible tools out there that make it so easy to do. So we'll get into all of that. And we've got Sherry here and we've got Chris here, who is a friend of mine from way back when. I'm so glad you're here, Chris. Chris has many products in the golf category. I'm going to be speaking actually specifically to the golf category on today's show, not just about golf, but that is something that I want to touch on, because there's a platform that is having incredible success in that arena. And so I want to share that with everybody. You know, I've been talking about live shopping for so many years and really trying to get people to understand all that's there and understand that it goes so far beyond the conversions. There are so many little hidden benefits that are actually much more valuable than those conversions. And I talk about them on every show. I'm just going to hit them, off the top here for those who have not been on here before. But I just mentioned the conversions 10 times. I mean, just that alone, 10 times what you would typically make on a static web page. But then there are things like average order value. That is a no-brainer in live shopping. Whatever your current average order value is, expect that to double and even triple very, very easily. SEO, improving your SEO ranking because you are hosting a live show, hopefully on your website in addition to different social media platforms. But when you have a show on your website, that increases your time on page significantly, as you can imagine, because I think typical is 2 to 3 seconds or something like that. And my average watch time on Grommet Live is 28 minutes. So imagine going from 2 to 3 seconds to 28 minutes. That is signaling to the different platforms that this is, or to Google, that this is meaningful content. And so they find ways to get that content out to more and more people. So I could go on and on. I am hosting a webinar, a free webinar, where we're going to take a much deeper dive into all of those benefits, and where I'm also going to walk you through exactly how to get started in live shopping. What are those steps? What are the different platforms? What kind of equipment do I need? All of that is going to be inside that live training. So definitely get in on that, because we're gonna really take a deep dive on it. One of the other benefits I was thinking about, I get a lot of questions from brands, big and small. Well, actually more on the small side, I should say. What if I don't have very many followers? How could I be successful with live shopping if I don't have any followers? What if nobody goes to my show? And that's a very viable question, and I'm sure a concern of most people who have not done live shopping before. And I was thinking, I mentioned a tool on last week's show that's called ManyChat. And I was thinking about, if you were to have a show where nobody showed up, if you've heard me speak before, I have said that is fine. That is totally okay. And why is that okay? It's okay for 2 reasons. Number one, because over time, and Howard, I want to say this to you, consistency is key. Committing to, I would say, a minimum of 3 months. If you can commit to 3 months and have a consistent go live schedule, I say once a week. It could be once a month. It could be, who knows? But more and more, I'm almost thinking once a day. And I know that's going to scare a lot of you, but I'm going to tell you why as this show goes on, because that's been on my mind a lot. So I'll dig into that in just a second. But again, even if nobody comes, it's okay. And the reason why is because from your show, if you host a half-hour show, an hour show, you have this golden content that you can splice and dice into smaller little segments if you want. And those segments become shoppable videos for each product that you're presenting. And so to be able to take content from a show and instantly turn it into a shoppable video that can then live on that product listing page, on your Amazon seller or your Amazon storefront, that product listing page as well, that you can blast out into social media on all the different platforms out there immediately, is pretty cool. And I bring that up because I'm tying it back to that ManyChat tool that I was talking about. Because what you do is once you put that little segment from your live shopping event out in social media, you tell people to put a word in the comment section like buy golf clubs. And if they put that in the comment section, automatically a DM is sent to them that has the link to purchase that. And so that can happen whether you're live or later as a shoppable video, which is very, very cool. So that can be selling for you 24/7 on social media. And you're also making that connection inside of the direct messages on Instagram and Facebook. So now you're connected to that person and you can follow up with them. If they didn't buy, you can remind them that the link is there for purchase. Maybe you're running a promo a week later where everything's 25% off. You can say, hey, I noticed you haven't purchased yet. Here's a coupon for 25% off in case you're still interested. And that's all automated. You don't even have to think about it. So I just wanted to bring that up one more time because I know so many people are fearful about nobody showing up. So all is not lost. In fact, there is such gold there, whether people show up or don't show up. It is a social media content machine that you're developing with every single show that you do. Okay, 28 nickels. Oh, making small shopping tidbits is brilliant. So brilliant. And it works so well. You will not believe if you have not done that, creating those little shoppable videos. Really, really smart. See, amazing. Love to hear this. I own a candle company. We just did a sensational, I love that, summer live sale on YouTube on Sunday. Our sales blew my expectations out of the water. I love hearing that. And so that brings me to, so thank you for sharing that your sales on YouTube blew your expectations out of the water. That's awesome. And that brings me to a statistic that I want to mention. I may have mentioned it on another show. As of 2025, 82% of consumers prefer live content from the brands that they want to buy from over static content, over a still social media post or a product listing page. They want live content. That's what's working right now. And that's why I'm more excited than ever about live shopping. They want more than just sort of that transaction. That's like not enough in 2025. They want an experience. They want to hear your story. They want to learn little tidbits about your product and how to best use it, kind of behind the scenes stuff. When you do that, you are creating a connection. You're creating an authentic relationship with them. They're getting to know you and they're getting to trust you. And when that happens, it is a beautiful thing because then they want to buy from you. And when it comes to live shopping, what I truly believe is even that purchase is not just a transaction. You have created a long-term repeat customer who will be back again and again. And that is kind of, I just think the holy grail of e-commerce and retail is to achieve that. And it's so easy to achieve that with live shopping. I wanted to mention a specific platform today, and that's really the driving topic of today's show. And so I'm curious, and I would love for you guys to let me know in the chat if you're familiar with it, if you have used it either as a buyer or as a seller. The platform is called Whatnot. You may have heard Gary Vee speaking about Whatnot quite a bit lately. If you know who he is a huge proponent of Whatnot. I'm not sure whether he's invested. There's something in me that makes me think maybe he has invested. I don't know. But he is sort of screaming it from the rooftops. And what is Whatnot? It's basically the largest live selling platform in the country right now. They just raised, I think, $265 million more dollars in funding, which I think then brought them to a valuation of $5 billion. Last year, 2024, they did $3 billion in sales. I'm so curious about how many people have heard of it. I'm just always surprised how many people have not heard of it because it really is the largest platform that there is. And it's quite exciting what is happening on that platform right now. So as I mentioned last year, 3 billion in sales. And that is just going up and up and up. They doubled the amount of buyers on the platform last year. They doubled the amount of sellers on the platform last year, and sales kind of goes a little bit hand in hand. It is hugely successful, and it's really interesting because how it started out, it was really kind of somebody in their closet selling clothes that they don't wear anymore. And so it's just kind of peer to peer or collectibles, coins, trading cards, things like that. But it started as that, and you can do everything from sell directly regular, or it can be an auction type of a situation, or you can do it kind of a giveaway. So it is a bit crazy and chaotic, but people absolutely love it. And it is just resonating with America in such a huge way. And I think it goes back to that whole thing about them wanting an experience. So it's really almost like a social entertaining event. Ever since the scare of the TikTok ban, bigger brands have started coming to Whatnot and saying, we want to be on your platform because we don't want to put all our eggs in that TikTok basket. We want to kind of diversify. So that has caused them to really kind of step things up. And now all of a sudden brands are moving over to TikTok. It's not just peer-to-peer at all. So I wanted to focus today's show on Whatnot because I think it is a tremendous opportunity for the smallest of the small. If you are an inventor and you have a product that is just in development, you're thinking about it, Whatnot could be enormous for you. If you are a brand that is already selling, maybe you're on Amazon, wherever you are, this is a platform that you might want to add to the mix. And that's why Chris, who I mentioned, has golf products. I actually told him to tune into this show because I think he needs to be on Whatnot for sure. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But what Gary said, and what got me thinking what I said earlier about it really can change your business overnight if you take it seriously and if you are consistent with it. And so what he says, and I was listening to a live show that he did recently where people were calling in talking about their experience on Whatnot, and oh my gosh, the sales went through the roof, and so much so that we had to stop going live because it was more than we could handle. And so we went from doing it once a week, now we're just doing it once a month. And he said, why? You should be doing it every single day. Why aren't you? And they said, we just don't have time. We're so busy filling the orders that we can't go live. And he said, you can hire a host to go live for you so that you can run your business. And you can hire multiple hosts and they could theoretically be selling your product all day long on Whatnot. And I got thinking about that. If I'm a brand and I have just one product or 2 or 3 or 4 products, and just part of my day is I go live on Whatnot or Amazon or any one of the platforms. And that's just part of the way we do business now. What you know is that in live shopping, conversion rates are tenfold. Average order value goes up 2 to 3-fold. Returns go down 50%. Positive reviews go up. So why wouldn't we be devoting a heck of a lot of time to doing that? It just makes so much sense. And that's what Gary was just freaking out that people can't see that. And so he gave an example. This was just the other night. He was speaking, I think at South by Southwest, and he was describing, he said, I went live on Whatnot, and he's got this little new side business that he's doing that's Pokemon Marvel something or other. And he was live on Whatnot for 2 hours, and he did $144,000 in sales in the 2 hours. He contrasted that to pre-Whatnot. He goes, before, what I would have done is I would have, number one, poured a whole bunch of money into paid ads, probably 10 grand for this live that I was going to do. And I would have had perfect social media and then these brilliant Shopify pages that make everything look so perfect. And I probably would have done $7,000 in those 2 hours that I did $144,000 on Whatnot in those same 2 hours. So his point was the business is changing because going live doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on ad spend to get people to come to your show. If they come or they don't, who cares? Because if they come and you can sell live right there, brilliant. But if you can't, that content is going to live on and sell for you while you're sleeping. And so why wouldn't you just keep producing that content if you could? Now, I get it. people get very nervous to go live. I totally understand. Probably 90% of you are nervous to go live. And so you're not alone. But you can do this. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And then you actually really enjoy it. And if you are the inventor of the product, if it's your baby, you are going to absolutely love it. I am an inventor myself. And so when I get to sell my products live, it's like I am a kid on Christmas Eve night waiting. I mean, it's just so much fun for me because I get to speak directly to the people that I'm producing these products for. And I look at it as such a gift because I get to learn from them what they like about the product, what they don't like about the product. What features could they live without? What features do they wish it had? And so it makes me better at what I do in terms of creating products, and not just creating the products, but marketing them, because they'll say something in the chat or they'll respond to something that I'm saying that makes me realize, well, I really need to focus my sort of presentation more on that feature. That never dawned on me that was so important. And I find that out during those sessions. And so getting to connect directly with the people that you're creating your products for is so fun, but so valuable. You just have no idea until you start doing it, because your business evolves and changes as you learn more about them. So just to give you a feel, going back to Candy's question of what Whatnot really is, if you're not familiar with that at all, I want to show you just kind of what the interface looks like. And they do cross many, many, many different categories. I think 50 plus different categories now. So whatever category you are in, you're going to be very happy to be there. You'll find your audience for sure. And that's the other thing I really like about Whatnot is the people are already there, and they're there for the purpose of buying something. That's what they want to do. And so you're not, on social media, people are on social for all different kinds of reasons. They're, they want to look at pretty pictures. They want to laugh at silly videos. And so every once in a while you get someone who really is looking for something. Whereas Whatnot, that's why they're there. They like to be entertained while they're looking for things, but that is why they're there. So you've got an audience that if you build it, they will come. But signing up, going live, all of that is really quite simple. I'm going to go into that process at the very end and what the different fees are that are associated with it. I will also even have Jen pop up the link to sign up for it if you want. And I swear I'm not making any money off of Whatnot for saying any of this. This is just, I've really been paying attention to it. I think it is, we know it is the biggest one. We know that they're doing huge numbers. So if you are an e-com brand, you at least need to know about it. And there is no kickback involved whatsoever. Gary saying that, really, that was the light bulb for me about, I always think of live shopping as just, few and far between, these shows that we do. And that maybe because I come from the HSN QVC world where, your shows are really few and far between and you really plan for them and all that, but it doesn't need to be that way. Today, go live whenever the heck you want. You are taking control of your business back. And that feels so good in this day and age of this ad spend that is ridiculous. And you just feel like you're at the mercy of the algorithms and all of these things. But now you can take control back and do it yourself. As I mentioned, it used to be funky little small categories and they're growing and growing, but there's still room for those funky small categories. And those small categories are doing incredibly well. Like I know knives, there's a knife category. Yeah, the knife category last year grew by 3,000%. The plants category grew by 1,000%. So these little funky, there's no product that cannot do well in live shopping. It used to be the mindset of beauty and fashion. That's it. But then we learned that tech is bigger than anything. And now pretty much anything goes. And even in Asia, they're selling yachts and real estate and all of those things. So live shopping is here to stay, guys. And the sooner you get on board and start doing it, the more you're going to have your brand stand out from the others who aren't doing it. And you're going to create this well-oiled machine where you are just pulling that lever whenever you want, which is pretty nice. Now, the golf category is somewhat new to Whatnot, and it's really doing so well. And I love that they really have done a deep dive on the category and who the customers are and how much they're spending every year and all of that. There is a company called Chip and Putt. And basically, all they create are head covers for the golf clubs. And I think they're even hand done. In their first 2 months on Whatnot, they grew their revenue by 50%. They reached $44,000 in total live sales during those 2 months. And this is a very small company. Those are big numbers for them. And he goes live 5 times a week. And now that has allowed him to, so we started off with just the head covers. Now he's doing branded towels and bags and all of these different other things. So again, if you're this small company, you can really grow a big brand around that one product or 2 products that you might have, because you start to build this audience and they want more and more, and the audience is there and they're there wanting to buy. And then there's another one called the GHQ Crew, and that's basically kind of golf merch, like sweatshirts and things like that. And they're Texas based. And let's see, he's a part-time pastor, and he made $100,000 in a single show. And he's now tracking toward $1 million annually. That's just starting out. Whatnot has had an 80% growth in their golf buyers over the past 6 months. And the average golfer is spending about $300 per month just on Whatnot. The golfers who are on Whatnot, they're tuning in. This blew me away. They're tuning into Whatnot 6.5 hours a week to watch golf shows on Whatnot, to see all the different products that are out there. 6.5 hours. They're tuning into Whatnot more than they're tuning into the golf tournaments that are on TV that they used to watch. So that they're averaging 3 to 6 hours of watching golf, 6.5 hours of Whatnot. So if that isn't exciting, I don't know what is, if you are a golf brand. Now, Whatnot even has a golf selling guide where they give very specific tips and things about selling golf products on Whatnot. So if you're interested in getting that guide, I'm going to put that in the description after the show. In terms of how it works, how do you get started on Whatnot? Basically, you're going to sign up. I'm going to put the link to that as well. And once you're signed up, you can go live. Anytime you want, you can auction, you can sell items, you can give away. But the other thing is you also have a Whatnot storefront that even if you don't want to go live, or if you can't go live that day, it's still selling for you 24/7. People can come on and purchase not live. So you have both. And then in terms of the fees and what it costs to be on Whatnot, it's 8% commission plus roughly a processing fee of about 3% is what I'm seeing there. So that's what that looks like. Whatnot is really seeing the value in a high quality live show versus, you can do really well having low level camera and a little bit of lighting. You can still do okay, but they're seeing how much higher the conversions are and how much more engaged and how long people stay on the shows with more of a well done show. And so if you do end up getting that golf guide, you'll see they really kind of put an emphasis on that, and they are for all of their categories. And so that made me happy because I've been watching live shopping since it started in Asia in 2016. And then when it came to Amazon Live in 2019, and I was watching all these shows where it wasn't done well and people were just tuning in and jumping out 2 seconds later, and it just wasn't going well because they didn't care about any of that. And so there are some basic things that we do need to do to create a good live show to keep an audience engaged. And we want to keep the audience engaged for a while, right? So we can, really create that connection, hopefully make a sale, but have them kind of get to know you and trust you so that they're coming back again and again and becoming repeat customer over time. And so all of that stuff is going to be in this webinar that I'm hosting. So definitely join me for that. If you are brand new and you don't have a big following, another thing I really like about Whatnot is hopefully people will find you because they see that you're live and they click on it if they're curious. And if what you're doing looks good and the sound is good and your product is good and all of those things, they stay. And then they come back again and again. But for those brand new, I love the fact that you can promote your show right before you go live or while you're live. And you can promote it for a short period of time, or you can have it promoted for the entire show. So if you're brand new to it and you're wanting to build that following quickly, I'm going to show you how easy that is to do. Here's a picture of what that looks like behind the scenes. So you just tell them how much you want to spend and how long you want to be promoting the show for, and that's it. So they are really developing a lot of very cool seller tools, if you will, that make it easy to grow an audience and to build a community on their platform. And I love that. I'm going to really be paying attention to all the new features that are coming out. And again, in my mind, it's really just in its infancy in terms of where I think this is going. And I'd love to see you guys get on there while it's still in its infancy. Other people would laugh at me when I say it's in its infancy because it has been there for a while, but it was very niche and now it's picking up steam and really going to be big. Such an amazing way to expand your reach, to grow your sales, and all so affordably without all that crazy ad spend. I do have some free resources for anybody interested in live shopping that I would encourage you to take advantage of. And all of those are always on my website. If you go to marcymckenna.com, I have created a tab that says live shopping. Click that tab, and the first tab down from that says free resources. So of those, the ones that I think you guys will be excited about is I just created a live shopping sales calculator. So if you're curious about it, it's weighing on you, you're thinking about starting, and you want to know how much money you could potentially make with live shopping by adding that to your digital marketing strategy, you can find out because it'll ask you a few different little data inputs. And once you put that in, it's going to combine that with what we know to be true about live shopping, sort of those industry benchmarks, and let you know what you could potentially make. And then I also have a free gear guide. So if you are wanting to go live but don't know what kind of camera, lighting, all of that, that is all in that gear guide. And again, we're going to go much deeper on all of it in the webinar. So definitely sign up for that. I'm seeing that Jen just put that in the chat as well. I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope you learned something about Whatnot and that you at least check it out. Worth checking out whether you decide to do it or not. At least you know about it now, and you will start hearing about it if you haven't already. I will be back again next week, guys, every Wednesday, 1 o'clock on the West Coast and 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.